So, okay. Doing it.
Thank you. Yes, Melanie.
Yes, I really like that option because I, for the most part, am only the single staff member here. I do have somebody who is able to come in, and I wasn't sure that was going to happen today. So I just wanted to be able to, if it's okay, I need to step away from my library, but be able to come back and not have everybody repeat everything. So if a recording is an option, that'd be great. So that I can catch as much as I can. So.
All right. Sounds good, Melanie.
Thank you.
All right. One of the ones that I like is definitely respecting each other's opinions and experiences. Because sometimes you'll have an idea that maybe someone doesn't quite agree with, but if we show respect for each other, it will be easier to have conversations.
And then one of the ones I always like to add is that we will also respect your time. So unfortunately, we were not able to start on time today, but Maria was here to start everybody off. But in general, we will start on time and we will end on time, which means when that clock hits 4 o'clock, we are done.
Can I just show you? Our chickens laid an egg.
Yay!
Oh,
That's awesome.
yay.
You're probably going to be getting a lot of those. How many chickens do you have?
There are 7. No, there are 8, but we don't know if one's a rooster or not.
Okay. That's really cool. All right. Any last minute agreements that you would like for the group? All right. I'd like to put the respect each other's experiences and opinions, if I can spell it. And yes, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save that so we have it for next time. All right, I will go ahead and stop share and turn the time back over to you, Jen.
Okay, so I just wanted to give all of you a little overview about how this class functions. As Maria and I had talked about, this is more of a framework and a way of thinking about teen services that you're going to be learning about. A lot of it is, you'll get out of it what you put into it. We've provided you with 4 different modules. We'll open up those, each module. I usually actually open them up the Friday before the week starts, just so that you have access to them the weekend before. There's not a lot of content in each of those modules, and the reason for that is because we want you to kind of consume this information in small bits and be able to reflect on it throughout the week and think about it. So it's going to seem like you're not doing a lot of work because it doesn't take a lot of time to get through the modules each week. But at the end of it, hopefully you'll have a good sense that you accomplished something. If you're not feeling that way, maybe go back through the material and revisit it. But basically, you'll get an email on a Monday from me that sort of lays out what we're doing that week. You'll get a reminder email on the Wednesday of that same week that sort of is just a check-in and mostly just to conveniently give you all the links to everything again, so that it's right at the top of your inbox. I scheduled all those emails to go out a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not writing them anymore. So they're just gonna appear in your inbox magically. We do 2 Zoom sessions, mostly as a way for us to get together and collaboratively talk about what the material from the Canvas courses. So again, you won't be getting anything, there won't be like, haha, I'm giving you this new information in the Zoom, but this time together is really important because it is actually where we all learn from each other. And If you're having trouble understanding a concept, usually the discussion we have will give you that aha moment. Nobody is grading any of the assignments or the discussion boards, but it will make a better class for everybody if you participate in them. And just, you know, you are all doing great work at your libraries, and I would really hope that you take this time to share that work with each other, whether it's in a Flipgrid, in the discussion forums, or here on the Zoom, because you have a lot to share with each other and a lot to learn from each other. So again, participation is kind of up to you, but the more you participate, the better experience it will be for the whole group here. And so I think that's it. We'll have this Zoom session. 2 weeks from today, we'll have another Zoom. And if you complete all of your 4 weeks and you're participating in the discussions and everything, we'll send you a certificate. So Maria, do you want to go ahead and, now this is probably the most that Maria and I will talk. From here on out, it's really your class. So Maria, do you want to guide them through the what and why of computational thinking?
Yes, so we're going to look at the Mentimeter that this class has created. So I have it up on my screen and I'm going to share that. All right, so can everyone see this clearly? Give me a thumbs up if you can. All right. Now, with this part of the discussion, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself if you have something to say, that's great. You don't need to raise your hand. If there are multiple people talking, that's okay. We'll just work with it and take turns. So, looking at the Mentimeter we created, all these words that you came up with that describe, or at least that you think of with computational thinking, what really stands out to you when you're looking at this?
Patterns.
Right in the center, the biggest one.
Creativity.
Definitely.
Problem solving.
Oh my goodness, I look at problem solving. Is there 3 different ways of spelling problem solving on that thing? Oh, there's problem solving, and problem solver. Yeah, that's huge.
I really liked how brain stood out because when I was trying to go through the little Canvas course modules last night, my son came in and he told me that I wasn't very good at the games, and he is a teenager. But I said that I was trying to actively use my brain and think like him, and he just rolled his eyes at me, but it was fun.
I'm excited to find out how you guys did Blue Story later in this. We will definitely talk about that. It's one of my favorite parts of this. So, yeah, any of these that seem unusual to you, or do they all just make complete sense? Actually, looking at this, the one that it's not really unusual, it makes sense, but I really like energetic problem solver. And whoever put that in, why add energetic?
I wish I put it in, but I like it.
Right?
I can't remember my 3 words I used. I don't think that was me. I know I used personal development and something else, and now my brain's upside down. I don't know. I can't remember. But I do like energetic problem solving too. So.
Mm-hmm. I also really like it is the same as. And I'm wondering if there's like a backstory to it is the same as.
I like the word empower because I think CT involves empowering everyone.
Definitely.
Understand it their way.
Yeah, like Melanie was talking about earlier, empowering your brain to think in different ways. Definitely. So looking at this, I mean, we use the phrase computational thinking to describe what we're going to be studying. But really, all these words go along with what we're actually going to be doing. So if you were to have someone you work with or a family member or someone come up to you and say, what is computational thinking? Is it something with computers? How would you describe it for them?
Problem solving.
Problem solving? Yes, definitely.
And looking for patterns in things.
Mm-hmm.
But can patterns be structures as well?
Why not?
Yeah. It's amazing how many things we actually do have patterns for in our life. As we'll go through this, that it opened my mind going through this before how much we really do have patterns in our life.
I remembered one of the other words I had used over there on the side. I had said accountability. And the reason I used accountability, it's a word that's been a dynamic word in a lot of my business, my life, the library, but just being able to stand up for yourself and be accountable and show to others that you were able to figure out the pattern or problem solve or show others how to be this a creative. I think that makes a person just feel huge to be, to be able to share that. So that was definitely one of the other words that really came to my mind on this module. So
Very cool. All right, any last comments before we switch back?
I would just like to add, I think computational thinking is about allowing everyone to utilize their own personal skills and experiences and thinking outside the box or the way they learn to go ahead and solve and understand what the problem is. And then all these other words come into play as well.
Very cool. And I like how you explain that to the point that honestly, it does encapsulate the whole thing, that we're figuring it out. We're looking at all the different parts. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. So I love all the words and phrases that you used and the explanations you gave. In the reading and the video, some of the things they were talking about were things that we already are doing in the library or that we already are doing in our lives. Were there any of the things that really stood out to you that were discussed either in the video or on the paper?
Well, I'm a knitter, and so I have to look for patterns in knitting all the time. Either look at them and analyze how something is made or follow it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's amazing how much crafts and creating are involved in computational thinking. It really is more than just computers. Justin, one of the things that this always brought to mind for me was when you were trying to figure out that STEM activity with the cup and the rubber bands to see if you could pick up the cup. I don't know if you remember that one, as we were trying to figure it out at our desks.
Oh yeah, just trying to. I mean, it's what's the word that made me think of trial and error, in a way. But yeah, just any STEM-based activity that you're trying to figure out before you teach it to children is, yeah, definitely one of those things.
Definitely. It was a lot of fun too, spending like half an hour trying to figure out how we're going to pick up a cup with 3 rubber bands between 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know for me, I was impressed with when they were describing story times, because honestly, when I think story times, I think, okay, I have a book and I have songs and I interact with the kids. I don't think about computational thinking, but like they were talking about our comments while we read, what do you think will happen next? Are relating it back to former part of the story, looking at the pattern of how we read a book, how it's always turning the pages in the same way. Analyzing the pictures, thinking about what's going to happen next, what's this character going to do. Even the songs, using the same songs over and over again, and the repetition of that. And the way that we always begin with the same song, or we always end with the same song. Definitely a lot of computational thinking goes into it for us creating it, but also for the kids who are participating.
And I find that to be true because I start my story time with the same song and I end my story time with the same song. And even through the COVID, when I wasn't doing story time, and I went back and to the daycares where I went, and I said, two little feet go tap, tap, tap. They already knew it. They were so involved in that. So they knew what we were doing first. And then the more we together at the very end, they were like, this is what it is. This is who we are. This is what we've been. So it was awesome.
That is so cool. I love it too, because whenever you have a sub, they will tell the sub, this is what you do first. And when you end, you will end this way.
And this is Miss Barb's chair. This is Miss Barb's chair.
Yes, definitely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, first, I just wanted to verify with everyone. Yeah, computational thinking, definitely more than computers. I loved the comparison to computational thinking and computers is like studying the stars in a telescope, that there's more involved. So I'll turn the time over to Jennifer to talk about Blue Story. Thank you everyone for your contributions.
Thank you, everyone. I really loved what one of you said about how there's something to the effect of there's a lot of, each one of us comes at it a different way, and each of us solves a problem differently, but we are using similar skills. So I wanted to ask all of you, first of all, just give me a thumbs up if you were able to play the Blue Story game. That was your assignment. Okay, that was you tried to put the little, the blue, yeah. You tried to make the blocks align in a magic way and everything worked out, and then you could go to the next level. Okay, so first, general reactions. What did you think of it? Easy, hard, didn't get it, quit playing halfway through? How'd you feel about Blue Story?
I got to level 13.
Good job.
But it took me a couple of times to fail to understand that this is going to do this to this, and this is going to do this to that. And so, I mean, it was fun for me, but frustrating because I am not smart like that when it comes to dropping blocks onto this thing that's going to flip it over to here. But I was having fun with it. I took about a half an hour. So yeah, I loved it. And I can see where, you know, I figured out after I watched it a few times, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. Oh, now I get it. This has to drop here to flip this over to here, which made it so much easier. But wow, just to try it the first time, yeah, I failed.
Good job getting to level 13. We had somebody in the August cohort who quit after level 3. What else?
Yesterday.
Did anybody else have a strategy that they used to get through the game?
I thought it was really fun. And it became almost addicting to me.
Yes.
Like I couldn't quit. I just wanted to keep going. I actually finished all 15 of them.
Oh!
I wasn't going to quit until I completed all of them. It was just really fun. But like I said, it was, I don't know, almost addictive to me.
Almost addictive. I love it.
I found that 15 was the hardest level of all. The others, not too hard, but the 15, I had to really puzzle that one out.
Yeah, you had to do that one not only in the right sequence, but at the right speed to get it to work. But yeah, I thought it was fun.
So
I'm going.
oh, go ahead, Melanie. Yes.
No, I'm going to admit that I didn't play whatever game you guys are talking about. I did play some games, but I must not have read the assignment right. And so I played a variety of different ones. That's where I mentioned earlier that my son heard the computer going with all these noises. He wondered what I was doing on the Zoom class or what I was taking. So he came in there and then he's like, "Man, you're terrible at this, Mom." So then I was trying to have him explain to me some of them. But I did get very addicted to a few of them, just like you guys, all you others have said, and wanted to keep going, but I had a busy night, so.
That's okay. So when I played it, my strategy when I got stuck was to look it up on YouTube and figure out what I was supposed to do.
Oh, that's cheating, Jennifer.
It's using my resources. You used your son. But I want you to think about, like,
I did.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, I asked him how to work it, and he told me how to because his brain works that way. But so yes.
But there's a lot of different ways that all of you accomplished playing that game. We have 3 Catherines on the line here today, so I'm going to try and use your last names so that we know who we're talking about. But Catherine Tanner said that she got addicted to it and she just couldn't give up. And I want you to think about what kind of program could you create for teens in your library where they have a similar reaction, where it is so, they are so into it that they just want to keep going. And that's sort of the challenge of creating a really good computational thinking program or integrating CT in your programs is how can you create something that has that effect on you? And Barb, I love it that you said you're not smart, but you got to level 13, which is pretty high. And you just, you had an ability to keep going. Melanie and I looked for extra outside help. It's, but when you're thinking about how teens are sort of training their brains, I think the classic example is if you've ever seen a teenager try to clean up a kitchen or put dishes away, they don't have a methodology, right? But adults were like, okay, well, you do, the silverware first, and then you do the big plates, then you do the little plates, and there's a method to loading a dishwasher and to cleaning off the counters and wipe down the stove. But for people who don't have that background knowledge, they have to learn it, and it can sometimes take a long time. So if you can help people, and I'm talking about teens when I say people, you can help teens kind of figure out those life hacks, but train their brains to kind of think that way. So maybe when somebody is stuck on a problem, we want their first reaction to be, I need to go to the library and figure this out, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Melanie's reaction or my reaction was, I'm just going to YouTube this. That could be my library.
So I have to say something about this. I raised 3 boys, and boys I love. I'm all in love with boys. But my youngest son could not put a dish in the dishwasher to save his life. He couldn't pick up anything off the floor. He's my only son that actually owns a house with a washer and dryer and bought a vacuum. So it happens. He's 22 years old, so eventually it's gonna happen.
There's hope for me then. So
there's hope for you,
Melanie.
Yes, there's hope for you. He's
okay. I have 3 boys as well.
Okay, so you know what? There's hope for you. Just ignore it, shut the door, and let it happen.
Yes, I pick my battles with them most definitely.
Yeah.
That's my biggest word to use with teenagers.
The whiskers on the face, whatever. Just whatever. Just shower. Sorry.
No, I think so in a way, and I think so. This next week you're going to be talking. It's going to break down computational thinking into like some actual like parts and pieces. And And what you're talking about is something that we call decomposition, which you'll learn more about next week. But that's, and abstraction. So abstraction is just like being able to ignore the information you don't need and just focus on the big picture, focus on what you need. And decomposition is breaking things down into little parts and trying to figure it out. So all of these concepts are embodied in computational thinking. And there's so many ways to get to them that really the sky's the limit. But the point is that you're doing it with intention and that you're using these computational thinking tools to improve your services and programs for teens so that the teens who come to your library end up with better problem solving skills, they make better decisions because they've had some low stakes experiences, even if it's just in like an anime program or a gaming program, where they've been able to build those neural pathways where they can learn how to break things down into parts, use logic. Just like you were able to do when you played Blue Story. Does anybody else have a Blue Story game or a gaming story that they'd like to share? Well,
it reminds me of a game my daughter used to play on her tablet, and it was a more animated version, but you have all these gears and stuff, and you have to figure out how to get something to happen. And yeah, it's the same exact thing, and she played it all the time. She loved it.
I was thinking like it was like Mario Kart or even Zelda, just to do get the coins to go on further. That's kind of, it reminded me of as well. Mm-hmm. I was horrible at the Nintendo and the Xbox controller, so it was much easier on the computer.
PC gaming is a thing, Barb. You can join join the ranks of the PC gamers.
Okay, I might commit.
Well, speaking of games, Maria, do you want to play a game with everyone?
Yes. So we had you play Blue Story this week. And I mean, it sounds like a lot of you were very much on top of figuring out how to make it work. I have to admit, I'm with Jennifer. I couldn't get past level 3 by myself, and I couldn't figure out how to make things work. And so I was like, I need to use my resources. So I YouTubed, and I found a video that basically got me up to level 13, and that's where I stopped. But yeah, I did get to level 13 and figure it out. And I have to say it was hard without a mouse. But I was thinking we should try one of the games that was actually mentioned in the video. So the 15 puzzle, when I first saw that video, I'm like, I haven't done a 15 puzzle in forever. And I think the last time I did one when I was a kid, I actually took some of the pieces out and then slid them back in. And so I was like, I wonder if I could ever actually do a 15 puzzle. So I have a 15 puzzle that we can do together. I was thinking we could just do the first 4, get them in order, because we'd have enough time for that. So you ready to do a 15 puzzle? When is the last time any of you did a 15 puzzle? Are you like me and you cheated?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, been a while.
All right, so let's go to 15 puzzle. If I can get to it. Sorry. Let me see if I can figure out how to get to that. There we go. So let's go ahead and we'll play. Now you can go ahead and unmute yourselves. How are we going to get the first 4 numbers up there? Got 1 down in the corner. Now, if you remember, you only can move pieces that are next to it. So like you can move the 3, 8, 10, and 7.
Move the 5 and the 10 to the right.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you click on the 5, doesn't it push it over? Yeah.
And then scoot the 11 up.
Okay. And the
And
1?
the 1.
The
And
one.
the one up.
And then the 14 over. And the 13 down.
Down.
And the 5 down.
9 down.
9 down.
And 2 over.
11 up.
1 up.
5 over. 9 down. 2 down. 11 over. 1 up. Then you can go 5 up. 9 over. 7 over. 10 down. 3 down. 11 over. 2 up. Someone else take over for a minute.
You're doing great. We'll just
You
let
could
you
move the
keep doing it.
Do the 3 over,
3 over? Okay.
And then do the
8 over,
8 over? Okay.
then the 4 down, then the 11 over, then 8 up, 4 over,
I think you should move the 3.
11
Yeah.
down, 8 over,
And then over
4 up,
4 up.
4 up? Okay.
3 over.
3 over?
7 up. 10 over.
10 over.
6 over. 11 down. 8
8 down, 4 over, 3.
3 up.
3 up?
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Hey.
I've spent hours doing those 15 puzzles as a little girl.
Yeah, it's been so long since I did one, so I was like, can I still do one, or actually do one without taking the pieces out and putting it back in? So it's pretty fun. You guys did excellent. It took me a while. All right, so we only have about 11 minutes left of class. I wanted to let you know a little bit of what's coming up. Now, we have the 2 videos, the 2 Zooms that we're doing for this class. And this is our first one. Our second and last one is going to be in 2 weeks. So Thursday, I forget which Thursday. Jennifer, do you remember what day?
The 24th.
The 24th? Yes. Awesome, thank you. So the 24th is going to be our next one at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, 2 o'clock Pacific. In between that time, like Jennifer was saying, you'll receive 2 emails a week that will let you know all the things that you need to do for the week. It should be, we're trying to keep it low key because we know that all of you have a lot on your plate, and we definitely don't want anyone feeling overwhelmed by this. Honestly, in the last class, we did have some people who were just like, we just don't have time, and that was okay. Honestly, we just are excited to be able to talk with you and meet with you and talk about computational thinking. If you aren't able to come to these, we are doing recordings, so this will be great. And if you have to miss a part because you need to step away, that's all right. We are just excited that you're all here to talk with us and to really practice computational thinking. It's amazing how you can use the computational thinking to make your programs better so that your patrons that are teams can use computational thinking. And it really is just going to be tweaking probably what you already are doing. So we're really excited to have you here. The next week is going to be focused on some of the principles of computational thinking, 4 areas that we're going to specifically look at. There are a lot more, but these are the 4 main ones that a lot of people talk about with computational thinking. And then after that, we are going to be talking about computational thinking in real life and analyzing how you use computational thinking in everyday living. And honestly, that lesson is probably the most shocking to me because I didn't realize how much computational thinking I used in daily life. That was when I was like Jennifer thinking, oh my gosh, about kitchens. And I didn't realize how much computational thinking went into cleaning a kitchen or a room or getting the coffee ready or filling up, getting lunch ready, how we use computational thinking in everyday life. But I also wanted to give you plenty of time to ask us any questions. Did I miss anything, Jennifer?
No, I think that's it. I do want to say that the 4th week, we do wrap up with some strategies of implementing computational thinking in your practice as a library worker. So we will touch on that. And these Zoom calls are also great ways to share your programs and your experiences with each other. So when we meet next time, hopefully you'll have some stories about how you notice computational thinking and how it's used in your library, and maybe some ideas about how to inject it into some programs and services that you're doing with your teams. Again, this isn't the type of training where we're like, here's the thing that you do, now go do it and evaluate it. This is the type of training where we're like, this is a different way of thinking about how you're offering things, and hopefully it will help you improve your services.
Which the focus here is on teens and on teen programming, which is great. But it also amazes me how much practicing computational thinking really, like what we read, talked about youth services like story times, and also adult programming. Like I think about Catherine talking about knitting, and Catherine Tanner in our last class, she talked about making a wedding dress from scratch. And things like that, where these are things that we do, and training our brains to be even better. Oh, and by the way, hi Elizabeth. I know I didn't say hi earlier.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this Thursday. If you have any problems accessing anything in the course, or you have any questions over the next few weeks, just send Maria or myself a note and we'll try to get you squared away. We're really looking forward to interacting with you on the discussion boards. There's a few other digital tools that we throw your way. One of them is called Padlet. It's pretty easy to use. You've mastered Flipgrid, so congratulations if you've done your introduction on Flipgrid. So I hope that you got something out of your first week. We're really looking forward to working with you over the next 4 weeks, and I can't wait to talk to you again in 2 weeks on the 24th.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. And I'm going to try to email you all the recording. I think that's my my goal. I think I'll email the recording and then I will delete it from my computer and then I won't have to worry about it.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. This was a great discussion, and it's great meeting you.
Yep.